Birds aren't the only things flying over Pilot Mountain these days. There are also drones. Visitors can't fly drones, but researchers from Wake Forest University can, to map the number of deer.
There is an effect on the natural resources from having too many deer and also having deer that are habituated. So deer that have lost their fear of predators and will stand in one place and graze instead of moving and grazing, which is what they're naturally adapted to do. And what deer do is they browse the best stuff. So at this point, all the good stuff's been eaten.
To find food, deer sometimes eat along the road, what's called edge habitat. But if you just count the number of deer along the road, you might overestimate or underestimate their numbers.
People said, well, you don't really have that many. I mean, look, how many do you see from the road? So you can't just survey by going by the road.
So researchers turned to camera traps.
It's got a trigger on the front. You can either trigger by movement or infrared at night. And at night it's picking up the animal's heat signature or person's heat signature.
Camera traps are accurate, but they're costly and time-consuming. So researchers are trying out drones that cover larger areas for less money.
You're capturing all the image at once. They don't know that the drone is there. It's flying at high enough and it's quiet enough that they can observe without disturbing.
Wake Forest University researchers, like Max Messenger, have studied the deer population at the park since 2014.
We started with a more traditional survey of deer populations using camera traps, which is sort of the standard method. And once that was up and running, we thought, hey, it would be really interesting to see if this new method of using drones would be effective and how it compares to that.
To track deer, Messenger and his team built quadcopters, or drones with 4 propellers. They then attached infrared cameras to them.
We use what's called a thermal imaging camera, which basically sees heat coming off of an object. So heat is emitted as actually light energy. It's just light that we can't see. And this is a special type of camera that's able to see that light. So as we're scrolling along, we're looking for spots like these. We've got these oblong white patches that are deer. So here we've got 4 individual deer in a group together. And then over here on the map, we can see where the drone is as it's flying along, and subsequently we know where the deer are on the ground.
Early estimates suggest more deer on Pilot Mountain than expected. Once Park Superintendent Matt Windsor gets final numbers from the drone project, he can work with state park officials to manage the deer population.
So right now, hunting in state parks is not a management option. It's not in our regulations to allow hunting. The only option that's been used in parks is removal.
In the meantime, rangers and researchers have fenced small areas of the park.
Over time, this will provide a study plot, and Wake is inventorying the plants that are growing inside the vegetation disclosure. So hopefully in the future we get to see some comparison between inside the exclosure and outside of it.
The goal is to restore the park to most of its naturally occurring communities of both plants and animals.
When you hear the Division of Parks and Recreation, it's easy to focus on recreation. Recreation's important, but the bottom line is that we need to understand what's going on in our parks, and we have to be able to partner with area researchers to be able to do that.